And now it's my pleasure to introduce Harley King. Harley King is an organizational development consultant who works in our industry. He's been working here helping care for residents and consulting with customers for over 35 years. Currently, and actually he's been doing this particular position for almost 25 years, he works with HCR Manor Care. And he just told me that he feels that what he gets to do is a privilege every day. So without further ado, Harley King.
Good afternoon, heroes! A man had an opportunity to visit heaven or hell before he died. St. Peter said, "Where do you want to go?" He said, "Take me down to hell." He got down to hell and he saw this beautiful, gorgeous banquet hall, much like this. Beautiful chandeliers, finest food and drink you could imagine. And then he looked at the people, and they were all skin and bones, cursing and swearing and spitting at each other. He said, "St. Peter, get me out of here." Took him up to heaven. He saw this same beautiful banquet hall, beautiful chandeliers, beautiful pictures, finest food and drink you could imagine. And then he looked at the people, and they were healthy and robust. They were laughing and talking and singing. He said, "St. Peter, what's going on here?" And St. Peter said, "Did you see the silverware? Strapped to each arm was a 4-foot fork and a 4-foot knife. Now, can you eat with a 4-foot fork? It's virtually impossible. Down hell, everybody was so busy getting everything for themselves that nobody got anything. Up in heaven, they'd feed the person across from them, and that person would feed them back." And that's my message here this afternoon. If you help other people get what they need and want, you're going to get everything you need and want. I think it's a privilege to work in healthcare. I've been in this business 35 years. Got here in 1975 as a writer of policy and procedure manuals. Those things you love to hate. And when I'd get on an airplane in 1975, people say, "Well, Harley, where do you work?" And I was embarrassed to say I worked in nursing homes. But what I found out over the years is that what you and I do is very, very special. Not everybody can do what we do. It takes a special kind of person to every day help others in their time of need. I want to say thank you this afternoon on behalf of the patients and the residents that you care for. I want to say thank you on behalf of the families of those residents. And I want to say thank you on behalf of the Ohio Healthcare Association. Now, you've been sitting a long time. I've been here all week. I want you to stand up on your feet. Let's go. Push those chairs away from the table. And I want you to give yourself and everybody else in here a standing ovation, because everybody in here is a hero. Now, we can do this for my next 10 minutes, or you can sit back down. Years ago, I heard a story of an activity director. And there was a patient that was admitted to her facility. And when patients come into our buildings, they can be very depressed. They see the end of their life coming. They don't want to be there. And this man was very depressed. And this activity director made her challenge. She was going to pull this man out of his depression. She discovered the man loved the outdoors. He loved the animals. He loved the birds. And they were very fortunate. Outside their nursing center was a pond. And she arranged it every day that this man went out and he fed the ducks on the pond. Helped pull him out of his depression. It gave him a sense of purpose, gave him meaning to his life. And for 2 years, every day, he went out and he fed the ducks on that pond. And then one day, as fate would have it, the ducks left and never came back. And a short time later, the old man died. Now, it has a sad ending, but it has a powerful message. And that is, whether you're 84, 64, 44, or 24, we all need a sense of purpose. Something that gives meaning to our lives, gives us a sense of purpose. And see, I think that's why it's a privilege to work in this business, because every day you and I have an opportunity to make a difference in the lives of the people. Now, I hate to tell you this. Some of you probably already know this. You and I aren't going to get rich. We're not going to make the millions of dollars. They play the sports figures to shoot the baskets, to hit the little ball over the fence. But I've had any of them here today that say the same thing that I do, that you're very, very special. You're more important than what they do. What you do is much more important. And I had this brought home to me by a CNA many years ago. After my workshop, she said, I want to tell you my story. She said when she was 1.5 years old, she developed encephalitis infection on the brain. They admitted her to the hospital. They expected her to die. And there was a nurse in that hospital, took extra special care of her, held her extra special, stayed with her even after her shift was over. She credited that nurse with saving her life. Now you know, that story had to circulate in her family for years for her to even remember it. She said 30 years later, she had an opportunity to repay that nurse. That nurse was admitted to the nursing home where she worked as a patient. She said, I clothed her, I bathed her, I toileted her. She said, I was there holding her hand when she passed out of this world. What you do today will come back to you in many, many ways. You're very special. Not everybody can do this job. I could go any city here in Ohio, offer people $1 million if they spend 1 year doing what you do, and not everybody can do it. A friend of my wife's, a number of years ago, she was a housekeeper. She went in and cleaned people's houses, wasn't very stable. She didn't make a lot of money. She wanted something more secure. Got her a job in a nursing center as a housekeeper. She lasted 3 months. She wasn't used to cleaning up urine, BM, dealing with the elderly. It takes a special kind of person to do what you do day in and day out. The real heroes for me are the people sitting right here in this room. Because every day you have an opportunity to make a difference. It truly is a privilege to do what we do. I want to close with a story of an LPN named Gertie Raleigh. She worked the 11 to 7 shift. She was in a patient's room, did what she had to do, and she was going out the door. She said, I heard the patient call me with my ears, with my heart. And she said, I walked back into that room and I leaned down real close to that patient. And that patient said, thank you. I love you. Ladies and gentlemen, that's why you and I are in this business. We're in this business because somebody needs what we have to give. And if you ever forget it, you don't belong in this business no more. I came here today, drove 3 hours down from Toledo to spend 10 minutes with you, to tell you thank you from the bottom of my heart for what you do. You're very, very special. Thank you.